Hey folks, this is Kalani. Some new factions will be vying for your attention in patch 8.3, and as always they come with plenty of goodies to make the grind to Exalted somewhat worthwhile. I want to talk about the new factions in play, where you can find them, what they have on offer, and how you can farm up the required reputation to add yet another Exalted rep to your little collection. There's two new reputations to look at, so let's see what each rep has to offer us first. What are the goodies we can get our hands on for farming rep with these chaps? That's the only thing we really care about, right? Let's start with the Uldum Accord. As you might have guessed, this reputation is down in Uldum, and the main hub for the old Kata quests is also the main hub for the rep and everything you're going to be doing in this zone in patch 8.3. Let's hop on over to the Quartermaster to see what we have. The reputations are going to have three main rewards: a brand new essence in 8.3, some of which are quite powerful, a new mount as per usual, and then the other bits and bobs that are thrown onto a rep vendor to give us some rewards at the various other rep levels that aren't exalted, because we all know that's where all the good stuff is. For the Uldum Accord, the essence they will provide you with is rank 3 of Breath of the Dying. They're only the source for rank 3. Rank 1 comes from the introduction questline in patch 8.3, so everyone get their hands on that very quickly, and rank 2 comes from completing the Minor Visions weekly quests for 3 weeks total. That should be incredibly easy to obtain for everyone as well, so only rank 3 is left to acquire. You'll have to grind up to Exalted with the Uldum Accord to purchase this rank 3 essence, but the price itself is quite cheap. This isn't the same case as the Nazjatar or the Mechagon rank 3 essences, where you had to both grind for Exalted and grind quite a lot of a specific currency. It currently costs 50 corrupted mementos. That's going to be in your hands super easily within the first week of playing patch 8.3, so don't worry about the price tag whatsoever. This essence is potentially one of the more powerful ones on offer though, especially for solo play, world quests and questing in general. The super short cooldown with a built-in execute mechanic is going to make it great for raiding as well, but after testing this essence on the PTR, I doubt there's anyone who won't want to pick this up. Because the cooldown of the essence resets and the damage of the next use is doubled if it kills the target, you can decimate an area of mobs with this one essence. Just pick off the mobs one at a time. It's pretty bonkers and really satisfying, so that's definitely one reward to look out for the Uldum Accord. There's also a new mount, as there almost always is with a new faction that I'll be grinding rep with. For getting to Exalted, you'll be able to purchase the Waste Wander Sky Terror. This mount is hilarious to me, but before we get too deep into the actual mount, I love that this one doesn't have an absurd price. Just 22,000 gold and this vulture can be yours. No 50k gold price tag for a reskinned mount, or 300k gold for a new mount, or the various other mounts that cost several million that we can pick up nowadays. No, just 22,000 gold. Pretty much anyone should be able to afford that if they really want to, which is a nice change. If you ever want to ride around on a carrion bird, it's your time to shine. You could probably make this work really well if you built a transmog or something around it, but I always found it kind of comical how big the characters are on this kind of mount model. I think this is the first time we have a carrion bird as a mount though, so that's cool. The other bits and bobs that you can get from the Uldum Accord aren't super exciting, but there is a bit of variety in here. You can buy Void Tendril pet leashes, which are exactly what they sound like, a new pet leash type that looks like a Void Tendril. It explains itself really, doesn't it? These are one-time use and they cost 1 corrupted memento each. Then at Honoured you can buy a toy, which is a permanent version of the same item, but you can buy the toy once and never worry about whether you have a spare Void Tendril leash with you, because I'm guessing that's the kind of thing pet collectors worry about, right? The toy will set you back 20 charms and 100 corrupted mementos, so a little bit pricier. There's also a new recipe for contracts for scribes. This works in the same way as the patch 8.2 contracts. Scribes will need to get to Revered with the Uldum Accord before they can purchase this recipe and start selling it to everyone else. If you're up to date with your rep grinding, that means this contract will only really be useful, or even available, for the Revered to Exalted portion of the rep farm. It should be still quite useful though. There's a new troop requisition for Uldum troops as well. If you haven't been keeping an eye on your mission table, you might not know how valuable this kind of troop can be. They have a chance to come back from missions with a special currency. This time it's corrupted mementos. That currency will fuel a lot of your progression systems in patch 8.3, including your Titan archive to allow you to stay sane longer in visions, and you can even buy sockets for your gear with mementos eventually. These troops could help you get them a little faster. It's just a shame they decided to make troop hiring completely random in BfA, but I guess that's just the name of the game right now. You can grab yourself a new battle pet at Revered as well, called the Pygmy Camel. That will cost you 300 polished pet charms to add to this cute? Can we call a camel cute? Sure, why not? To add this cute camel to your collection. It fits the sand or desert theme of Uldum quite nicely. And then the last reward on offer is a new tabard. This is the other goodie available when you get to Exalted. You can start representing the Uldum Accord with a sandy coloured tabard with a really cool symbol that shows off the different factions coming together to create the Accord to help defend Uldum against the onslaught of N'Zoth's forces. Not the most interesting tabard I've ever seen, but it is definitely theme appropriate. That's everything from the Uldum Accord. Let's hop on over to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms and see what the Rajani have to tempt our champions and heroes. We'll be working alongside these recently unearthed Mogu to protect the Vale of Eternal Blossoms against N'Zoth and his insidious forces. Let's have a look at their super special rep rewards. There are 2 rank 3 essences available from this reputation, so it might be a bit more important depending on which essences you're after. The Tank Essence, Touch of the Everlasting, and the Healing Essence, Spirit of Preservation, both have their rank 3s tied to the Rajani reputation. You'll need to get to Exalted, just like with the Uldum Accord, and it's the same 50 corrupted memento price tag. While these are both new essences, they don't seem super powerful when compared to other essences on offer, both old and new. It's going to depend on a whole bunch of variables like simulations, but the essences might not be the most important factor of the Rajani reputation. I'll still pick them up, obviously, I have to complete my collection, but I doubt I'll use them too often. Let's talk about the mount next, the Rajani War Serpent. This might be the most excited I've been for a mount in quite a while. I love the Cloud Serpent model, and the dev team hasn't really had any good excuses to bring it back and reskin it a couple of times until now. We're fighting over the Vale of the Eternal Blossoms, so it's a perfect time to dig this mount out of the retirement pile. What's really interesting is that this mount doesn't really require any specific reputation with the Rajani to purchase it. You don't have to grind to Exalted for this one, so that's pretty exciting, but there is a catch. This mount isn't available for just gold or mementos. You'll need to get your hands on a pristine Cloud Serpent scale. Do that and the mount is yours. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not going to be that easy. I guess these will drop from the Cloud Serpents around the zone and it's just going to be a massive mob grind, or maybe it might drop from a rare spawn as well. We'll have to wait and see, because at this point in time we don't have too much information. That is an amazing looking mount though. The Thundering Cloud Serpents were always some of the most awe-inspiring mounts in the game, and now we have a white one to go along with Hulon. There is one other special item on offer at the Rajani Quartermaster that I want to touch on before we go through the extra stuff. At Exalted, you'll be able to pick up the Lightning Forged Augment Rune. Yes, we're at that point of the expansion again, an infinite Augment Rune. I haven't really touched Augment Runes all too much this expansion, but I'll be happy to know I'll never have to buy any ever again, for Battle for Azeroth anyway, after this patch goes live, and we get to Exalted. The infinite Augment Rune provides the same 60 stats, so there's no reason not to go for it, except maybe the 50,000 gold you'll need to pay for it. That's definitely going to be worth it for a lot of raiders out there, but maybe not so much if you haven't been using Augment Runes this whole time. It's probably a safe bet to sell your Augment Runes before people start hitting Exalted though. With an infinite rune on offer, I doubt people will want to pay too much for individual runes anymore. Let's wrap this up pretty quickly. Most of the other rewards are very similar to the Uldum Accord. We have a recipe for scribes to create contracts for the Rajani. The same thing really. You need to get to Revered first, so we won't have access to these for a few weeks at least. There's another troop requisition, and these troops also bring back corrupted mementos sometimes. Having both would probably give you a better chance of recruiting these special chaps at least, so it wouldn't be a waste to get both even though they do the same thing. There's also a pet from the Rajani, the Wind Feather Chick. We had a camel from Uldum. What else would you expect from the Veil than a crane? It fits the theme very well, and it taps into more of that Mists of Pandaria nostalgia. And last but not least, we have the Rajani Tabard. I didn't really like this tabard at first, but I think it's actually grown on me. I wouldn't necessarily use it myself, but I love the stone effect across the entire tabard. The patterns are really cool, and this is the first tabard that really reflects what a Mogu stands for. You could make some awesome sets based around this if you're any good with transmog, but you'll have to get to Exalted first. So that's everything you can get from these reputations, but how do we actually farm the reputation we're going to need? There's two main sources of rep right now on the PTR, more might be added in before this goes live, but this is how you're going to gain the majority of your reputation with these two new factions. The first is daily quests. Pretty straightforward, there's a hub for each faction. Inside that hub you're going to find a variety of daily quests that reset each day, and they all reward a small slice of rep. 75 is the going rate right now I think for most of these dailies, so quite typical on that front as well. You'll be killing off baddies, collecting resources, protecting your allies, and just taking part in the chaos really. Both the Veil and Uldum are under constant assault from a variety of enemies, so the dailies are going to be centered around the turmoil and us doing our part. There's 3 to 4 quests each day from each faction, so they shouldn't take too long, but it is going to keep you busy. All of the dailies will also reward you with coalescing visions and a handful of other rewards like AP, gold or war resources. But the key here really is the coalescing visions. They're going to be crucial for your main progression paths in patch 8.3. Horrific visions can only be opened in 2 ways. Bring Rathian a vessel of horrific visions, which are very hard to get your hands on, or bring Rathian 1000 coalescing visions so we can turn them into a vessel. Dailies are going to be an important step towards that 1000 visions goal, so getting as many of them done as you can is going to be important for more than just the rep grind. The other major source of reputation is the assaults that I briefly mentioned. These are going to work a little differently when compared to assaults from the past. Each assault has one world quest, kind of like the Mechagon zone. Just taking part in almost anything going on in the assaulted zone will give you credit. Kill stuff, destroy stuff, do your dailies, events, rares, almost anything. Fill up the bar to 100% and your world quest is done. That's the assault completed for the most part. You'll want to come back every day to get your dailies done, but each assault only ever has one world quest and it doesn't come back up until the assault changes. When it changes depends on the kind of assault. So both the Veil of Eternal Blossoms and Uldum are under attack at the same time. They always have an assault active in both zones. One of these zones will have a Black Empire assault. That one lasts for the entire week, so you only get one world quest per week for the Black Empire assaults. While one zone has the Black Empire assault, the other zone will have mini faction assaults. For Uldum you get the Akia and the Amethet assaults, and for the Veil you get the Mogu and the Mantid assaults. These mini faction assaults come up twice per week, so halfway through the week it will change. That will give you a grand total of 3 assaults per week, 1 Black Empire assault in one of the zones, and then the 2 assaults in the other zone. Every week the Black Empire assault will swap zone, so you'll have Uldum with the Black Empire and then the Veil with 2 faction assaults, and then the next week you'll get the Veil with the Black Empire assault, while Uldum has 2 faction assaults. Rinse, repeat. These assaults have different rewards. A Black Empire assault will reward you with 1500 reputation for the faction of the zone the assault is in, so when the Veil has the Black Empire assaults they will give you 1500 Rajani rep, and then when it pops over to Uldum you'll get 1500 Uldum Accord rep instead. A Black Empire assault will also reward you with a full vessel of horrific visions, so you absolutely have to complete these assaults if you want to keep up with your legendary cloak upgrades. The rep is just a nice little bonus on top. The mini assaults only give you 500 reputation with the zone's faction, but if you complete both of them you'll get 1000 rep per week, so that's not too bad. These assaults don't reward vessels, but they do reward 200 coalescing visions. That's 1/5 of a vessel, so it's still probably worth doing even if you don't care about the reputation. So whether you're interested in mounts, the new essences, the infinite augment rune, or just farming up some coalescing visions, gaining reputation in patch 8.3 is fairly simple and you have lots of rewards to look forward to. What's your favourite rep reward that you've seen so far? Are you more interested in the new Thundering Cloud Serpent model, or does that infinite augment rune sound just too good to pass up? What do you think about assaults and daily quests being the main sources of reputation? Is it a good thing that they kept things pretty simple for the last patch, or is that approach a little outdated and boring. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.